Special arrangements have been put in place to help the Queen attend a poignant national memorial service for Prince Philip today. Officials at Buckingham Palace and Westminster Abbey have worked to give the increasingly frail 95-year-old monarch every chance of attending the service by tailoring it for her comfort. The service has been limited to 40 minutes instead of an hour, and the Queen, who will make a final decision this morning about whether she is feeling mobile enough to attend her first official engagement outside a royal residence since October last year, will sit in a comfortable chair while others in the congregation stand for hymns. She will be brought in by a side entrance beside Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey and walk, possibly with the aid of a walking stick, to her place to avoid the much longer walk from the Great West Door to the far end of the nave where the royal family sit. Officials had discussed bringing in a more comfortable seat for her, but it was decided yesterday that she will sit in one of the two Canada chairs always used by the sovereign or the most senior member of the royal family at services in the Abbey. The Venetian-style chairs made from Canadian birch and presented by the Canada Club to the Abbey in 1949 in memory of Canadians who fell in the Second World War, have comfortable cushions to ease any discomfort she might experience. The Queen has been closely involved in plans for the service, which will include many elements reflecting her wishes as well as those of the Duke of Edinburgh, whose blueprint for his own funeral had to be abandoned in April last year because of COVID-19 restrictions. In Westminster Abbey, where he made promises that define a life of willing duty and spirited service, we give thanks for His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, the Dean of Westminster, the Very Reverend David Hoyle, will say. A man of rare ability and distinction, rightly honored and celebrated, he ever directed our attention away from himself. He put privilege to work and understood his rank as a spur to service. Working at pace, with so many claims on his attention, he encouraged us to focus, as he was focused, on the things that matter. His was a discipline and character that seized opportunity and overcame obstruction and difficulty. We recall, with affection and respect, the sustained offering of a long life lived fully. The Queen, if as expected she is deemed well enough to attend, will be joined by a large group of members of the royal family. They will include her disgraced son Prince Andrew and the Queen and Philip's grandchildren. It is understood that some of the Queen and Philip's older great-grandchildren may also attend, but their presence has not been finally confirmed yet. But Prince Harry and Meghan have stayed away, and it appeared last night that the Queen's cousin Princess Alexandra, 85, who has struggled with health issues on and off, may also not be able to attend. A large group of Philip's relatives from the German side of his family are coming over, and around 30 foreign royals who had been due at the Duke's funeral before COVID drastically limited numbers, will attend. Guests include Prince Albert of Monaco, Denmark's Queen Marguerite, King Harald and Queen Sonia of Norway, and Spain's King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, who would have all originally been on the pre-pandemic guest list. The Queen has planned several different private events in London and Windsor to entertain guests around the memorial service. So even if she wakes up this morning and her mobility is so restricted she feels unable to travel into the capital, she will be able to meet some of the guests at Windsor. Sir David Attenborough, Dame Flola Benjamin, Baroness Grey, Thompson and members of the military who were involved in Philip's funeral, including Pipe Major Colour Sergeant Peter Grant and the Grenadier Guards Bearer Party, will be among the guests along with 500 representatives from his patronages and charities. Among the plans that had to be dropped from last year's funeral, young Gold Duke of Edinburgh's award holders and members of the Youth UK Cadet Force associations will line the steps of the Abbey as guests arrive. The Dukes express wishes for the congregation to join and sing the rousing hymn Guide Me, O Thou Great Redeemer, and for the clergy from Windsor, Sandringham and Balmoral to play a special part will finally be granted today. Philip, who worked on his own funeral details, codenamed Forth Bridge, for many years, had asked for the choir to sing Te Deum and See by Benjamin Britten, and this will be part of today's proceedings. A special tribute will be read by 28-year-old Doan Sonnebear, from London, who holds her bronze, silver and gold Duke of Edinburgh awards, about the legacy and impact of the youth scheme Philip set up in 1956. Doan, now an account executive studying for a PhD in sickle cell research and health inequalities, said, "It's a huge honor to speak at today's service and reflect on the amazing impact the Duke's legacy has had on me and millions of others, and will go on having for future generations. When I look back at the last decade, I've achieved so much more than I thought I could, and it's down to my DOF and the opportunity it gave me." In recognition of Philip's long-held relationship with the armed forces, the band of Her Majesty's Royal Marines Portsmouth, Royal Band, will provide music before and after. Pieces will include the upbeat The Seafarers, as well as the moving Pacific theme by Blake Neely and Hans Zimmer, composed for the HBO mini Series about a U.S. Marine Corps fighting in the Pacific during the Second World War. Philip served as first lieutenant on the destroyer HMS Whelp in the Pacific, where he helped to rescue 2 airmen in 1945 whose bomber crashed into the ocean during the Allies' Operation Meridian II against the Japanese. In March 1941, while serving on HMS Valiant, he was mentioned in dispatches for his actions at the Battle of Cape Matapan. Flowers in the church will be in shades of patriotic red, white and blue, with larger arrangements featuring blue eryngium, known as sea holly, a nod to the Duke's career in the Royal Navy, and his lifelong affection for the sea. The smaller posies will include white dendrobium orchids, which appeared in Princess Elizabeth's wedding bouquet when she married Philip in 1947. Prince Andrew, who paid millions to Virginia Giuffre in an out-of-court settlement earlier this month to settle a civil sexual assault case, will arrive alongside his daughters Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, and their husbands Edoardo Mabelli Mozzi and Jack Brooksbank. Also there will be Prince Charles, Camilla, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, the Earl and Countess of Wessex and their children Lady Louise Windsor and Viscount Severn, the Princess Royal and Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, Prince and Princess Michael of Kent, the Duke of Kent and the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. Zara and Mike Tyndall are also expected to attend. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who publicly apologized to the Queen and the country over gatherings in Downing Street on the eve of the Duke's funeral, will be in the Abbey with wife Carrie. The Metropolitan Police is investigating the allegations of boozy lockdown, breaking parties at Number 10.